For an opportunity to contribute to this motion, I salute Senator Mwaura for bringing the motion, which Senator Faria had wanted to bring, I had wanted to bring, and it's good that he did bring the motion ahead of us. Madam Speaker, if there is anything that must be declared a national disaster in this country, it is corruption. Extraordinary problems require extraordinary measures to solve them. Corruption has reached a level that we can call extraordinary, Madam Speaker. The country is bleeding. The country is hurting. Yesterday you saw, Madam Speaker, the Governor of Central Bank has said our external borrowing has reached a limit. We can't borrow anymore. At 4.6 trillion, the national debt can only bust the economy. Madam Speaker, this country has been bedeviled by one incident of corruption after another. The NYS, Madam Speaker, NYS 1 graduated some suspects to high office. It's a shame. It's a big shame, Madam Speaker. In fact, there was somebody who joked the other day that if the previous one was in office for 1 year and graduated to where she is, the next one might graduate to become president. Madam Speaker, I agree with Senator Mwaura for tabulating the legal framework we have in fighting corruption. There is no shortage of law. What we have a shortage in this country is the will to fight corruption. When PLO Lumumba was the head of Anti-Corruption Commission, Madam Speaker, and he resigned in a half, he said something very important. He said when he was appointed to that office, he thought he had been appointed to fight corruption. But he quickly learned that he was only appointed to appear to fight corruption, not to fight corruption. And that's why he was shown the door very unceremoniously, because he went beyond appearance. Madam Speaker, because of a limitation of time, I want to look at the issue of Serious Board. And I want to laud Minister Kinjuri for having been honest yesterday before the committee. Listen to this, Madam Speaker. Serious Board in my county of Bungoma, and Serious Board by its framework and foundation knows its farmers in every region. So it's not anybody who can turn up with a briefcase and say, I'm a farmer, I want to deliver produce. In Bungoma, Madam Speaker, my county, 534 million was paid to farmers. And when you look at the description of these farmers, you cry like Senator Kabaka cried on the floor. Madam Speaker, in the county of Bungoma, and you know Bungoma, there is not a single farmer who can talk of farming 200 acres of land. We don't have land because of population. You find those kind of farms in Uasin Gishu, in Trans Nzoia, in Nakuru, and a few other places like Laikipia. But in Bungoma, Madam Speaker, a Mary Wanjiku, describing herself as a farmer, delivered maize that he has harvested on 800 acres of land in Bungoma. Another farmer, Mary Wanjiru Ndiwa, delivered maize she farmed on 334 acres of land in Bungoma. Another one, Bernard Mwangi Kimani, delivered maize having farmed on 400 acres of land in Bungoma. Another one called Mary Wasamuel delivered maize that she farmed on 800 acres of land in Bungoma. Madam Speaker, another one called Lucy Ndutakehara delivered maize she farmed on 230 acres of land in Bungoma. My nephew here knows, Madam Speaker, he comes from close to Bungoma. You can't get anybody in Bungoma farming more than 100 acres of land. There isn't. And Serious Board is taking public money and giving to people who are fraudulently passing off as farmers. And what are we doing, Madam Speaker? Instead of such people being arrested for, one, giving false information to a person employed in the public service, fraudulently acquiring public resources through dishonest means, they tell us they are investigating. What are you investigating? The case is an open and closed case. As a lawyer, Madam Speaker, you know what we say? The error is on the face of the record. You don't need to look behind the record. This is what we're having, Madam Speaker. Look at even the charges framed against the people with a lot of hype in the NYS case. People are now we are told 9 billion is lost. Nobody has been charged with stealing money. They are being charged with abuse of office, neglect of duty, and all manner of spurious charges, Madam Speaker, that will be difficult to prove, and people will walk home scot-free. This is Kenya. A lot of hype, a lot of fanfare. For a change, people who are in the administration of justice are on TV every day, updating the country on the fake steps they are taking in the fight against corruption. And after a short while, it will die down like the floods we have seen. The sun will come and it will dry, and the next day we'll start talking about a new thing. Madam Speaker, there is no way you can fight corruption without making corruption painful. If you do not make corruption painful, Madam Speaker, you will never win the war. You take somebody to court, you find somebody who has stolen 1 billion shillings, you fine him 20 million. What is that? That is pocket change. You remember, Madam Speaker, the famous case in Mombasa, where the MD of Ports Authority was found with 120 million in the house, and he said, why am I being disturbed? This is what my wife uses for her regular shopping. 120 million. And he was never taken to court. He never recorded a statement. He's still enjoying the money. Madam Speaker, to the extent that in this country today, nobody talks about earning money. Nobody. Everybody talks about making money. When you meet young men in bars and in hotels, say, we are discussing a deal. We are discussing a deal. Yes, nobody talks about we are discussing on how to work hard and earn money. It's making money. And making money is through shortcuts, Madam Speaker. A country like South Korea, today, Madam Speaker, 3 presidents, former presidents, are in jail. You remember the lady who came here as a president, the daughter of a former president who also is in jail. She came here telling us, pontificating about corruption and development. She went back, she's in jail for 26 years. You salute such a country, Madam Speaker. Because if we do not make it difficult for people to benefit from corruption, and corruption just starts from simple things. One time when I was minister, Madam Speaker, I tried just to find out, how do we procure things here? A roll of tissue paper, Senator Mwaura, that you can walk to Nakumatt and buy for 120 shillings is procured for 1,000 shillings. A pencil that you can pick for 20 shillings is procured for 300 shillings. A writing pad that you can walk into a supermarket and pick for 50 shillings is procured for 500 shillings. And cumulatively, how much money is stolen? And that's why, Madam Speaker, if you look at Kenya and Africa at large, we talk about very handsome GDP growth. Nigeria is the second largest, has overtaken South Africa as the largest economy on the continent. South Africa has a big economy. Congo is having more resources than how the whole of Africa put together. But where is the social transformation in Africa? The poor of 1960 are poorer today. The villages of 1960 are worse today. But we keep on saying lives have improved, the station of life is going up, more people are doing this. Today in this country, Madam Speaker, we are sitting on a time bomb. 12.8 million young people eligible to work, capable of working, have no jobs. No jobs. And yet, Madam Speaker, people are employed. And we said on this floor, my colleague Orengo was here, we sounded together. Why are you putting money in NYS? NYS was receiving a budget of 5 billion. Within 1 year, you move it to 27 billion without the structures to absorb the money. You are just handing over money to people to pocket. And that's why you see cynical calculations that if the amount of meat procured in NYS is to be used properly, each NYS officer eats 1.5 cows every day. Every day for 360 days a year. Those are the procurements you have on record. Madam Speaker, a tire that you can walk to Manisha's Kingsway tires and buy for 49,000 shillings is bought for 1 million shillings in NYS. This is a scandal. And the president should not be begging Kenyans to stop practicing corruption, should be locking up Kenyans for being corrupt. Madam Speaker, I always say this and I can say it again. When I was the foreign minister of this country, somebody maliciously brewed what they called the Tokyo scandal. I walked to President Kibaki as my president. I told him, Mr. President, I have no moral standing to sit in that office until I'm cleared of this, because I don't know anything about it. And I left office. I stayed out of office for 6 months. Every agency investigated, and the president called me back and said, my minister, they were wrong. You are innocent. That is the only reason I agreed to go back to the office. And we want to have a situation, Madam Speaker, where, as Jesus said, those of you who have never done this, throw the first stone. In this country, the majority of people cannot throw any stone, leave alone the first stone. They cannot throw any stone because everybody is tainted. We worship money. Everybody, everywhere. These members you see here, Madam Speaker, including yourself, cannot go to your home without money in your pocket. People just get to their constituencies and create reasons and disappear because they have no money. Everybody who comes to see you wants money. Everybody wants money. Why do people want money? Because we have stifled opportunities for people to live decent lives. So they have to come to you. A man makes his wife pregnant, watches her grow for 9 months, and he comes to the MP to pay maternity fees. What kind of joke is this that we're having in this country? Madam Speaker, this is what we should be fighting for. There should be free medical everywhere. There should be free education everywhere. I want to urge you, Senator Mwaura, that setting up any committee of this House to look into these things is not going to yield anything. What we need to do, and what we should have done, call the agencies of governance in this country, EACC, DPP, Controller and Auditor General, Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the judiciary, although the judiciary is not accountable to Parliament, so they decline to come. Call them here and ask them, we're giving you taxpayers' money. What are you doing? If you are a father in the home and a robber strikes, and you are the one who climbs the roof to wail instead of fighting back, then that house is doomed. Then that house will crumble. And I want to urge this country, let everybody stand up. What Farhia said, I saw it too. Not from her, from somebody else. Some fellow asking children, what lesson can Kenya give to the rest of the world? A 6-7-year-old boy stands up and says, corruption. I saw another one where children were on TV and a child is asked, who is your role model? When you grow up in this country, what do you want to be? The kid raised his hand and said, I want to become Lesh Patni. When our children are growing like that, then, Senator Mwaura, you know, we have lost generations. We have lost generations. Now, today, and everywhere, you are respected for the size of car you drive, not the content in your brain. Nobody wants to respect you for speaking good English and for creating new ideas and doing all sorts of things. People will respect you when you walk into a place and say, piga line up. Everybody claps. Even when you go to church. Every priest wants to talk to you. When are you coming to do a harambe for me? When are you coming to do? Nobody is telling you, how do we make this country better? How do we make this country accountable? Madam Speaker, we have a crisis, and a crisis must be dealt with in a crisis situation. President Uhuru Kenyatta, if you are listening to this Senate, declare corruption a national crisis and let's deal with it as a crisis. I beg support.